Hey, what's up, everyone? This is me, Dre. I just want to come to you with this story. It's about former police officer Michael Slager. He's the officer who had killed Walter Scott. Now, for those who haven't been paying attention to this story, because this happened around April or May of 2015, but during a routine traffic stop in which Walter Scott had been driving, and apparently he had a tail light out. During the course of that encounter, Slager said that there was some sort of altercation that ensued, and from what he reported when he called in to police dispatch, shots were fired. Walter Scott tried to seize his taser, and he had to open fire. However, a bystander who had a camera on his cell phone, of course, many of us do. I mean, this right here, this is my trusty Nexus 6, but you're going to see cell phones with cameras all over the place, especially in this day and age where a lot of police brutality is happening. And it's something that's more commonplace ever since it was first outed with Rodney King getting his ass kicked around 1991, 92, something like that. And people have been very vigilant. So you're getting a lot of people that are capturing the moment. But this bystander, from what he recorded, it contradicted what Slager had alleged during that confrontation with Walter Scott. In the video, you see where Walter Scott is at least a good 8 to 12 feet away from Slager with his back turned because he's fleeing. And you see Slager with his hands up with his service pistol, and he opens fire, shooting about 7 or 8 times, striking Walter Scott in the back a couple of times, killing him. Then you see him go over to where he was originally standing, or just a few steps back, picking up something off the ground. And because another police officer had arrived on the scene, the cameraman, he kind of moves positions, and you see where the officer who had arrived on the scene, they're checking Walter Scott's body. And then you see Slager come over, and you see him dropping something on the ground next to Walter Scott's hand, just as a cover-up. So he lost his job, he was arrested, and he was been in jail. Now, the judge said it was a difficult decision because it's not going to be a speedy trial, and also because of health issues while he's in jail. They released him on a $500,000 bond, to which he only had to pay 10%, so about $50,000. So what I take from this whole story is that it's okay to kill black people as a law enforcement agent and get away with it. Because Tamir Rice, his family didn't get any justice. 12-year-old boy in an open carry state who was playing with a toy gun. Someone called it in. Police rolled up on a scene on a playground about 4 to 9 feet away, open fire. And it, to me, when I'm watching the video, it's almost as if the car didn't even stop completely before the cop had himself halfway out the vehicle and shooting. Didn't give this man, or this young man, much time, but shot this young man, and he later died. And because of that, they said it was justifiable homicide. And now most recently, they said that he's not going to be arrested, or no further charges are going to be brought up on him. Then you have John Crawford. He goes into a Walmart in Ohio. He's walking around, and all of a sudden, police are on the scene. Again, someone called the police and said he's walking around with a gun, pointing it at people. But if he had walked into the store with a gun, don't you think loss prevention or whoever's in charge of security would have called law enforcement and said, hey, we got a problem? But cops rolled up on the scene and shot this man. And guess what? No charges brought up against these cops. Again, another black family who lost their child because of an overzealous cop. Excuse me. My purple drink. And now you have Walter Scott killed by this cop. And because of his fucking health issues, they're going to release him on bond. Trial's not going to be out until October later this year. And so this man gets to walk free. The prosecutors are afraid that Michael Slager is going to be a flight risk. He's out on bond after killing someone. It's homicide. It's definitely homicide when you look at it. But all of a sudden, he's free. And like I said, what I take from this is that for law enforcement, they're giving these guys a slap on the wrist. This guy's going to get to live out his life. Will he go to jail? I'm not even optimistic that the penalty is going to be that severe. 2 or 3 years, and then he's going to be out if he serves any time besides what he's already served. But you're talking about a killer who took out the life of a civilian, and now because of his health issues, he gets to walk free. But what about Walter Scott's family? No one gives a fuck about that. And for those who think that he should have complied or he shouldn't have fought back, look, for him to call in and say, he tried to take my taser, but then you see video evidence showing that he killed him, just blatantly killed him, executed this man, and there's no scenes of an altercation because people say, well, what happened beforehand? What you see beforehand is a man running away and getting shot in the back. But no one gives a fuck about that, and now his family has to suffer through this. So while this man is walking free on the streets, his family gets to see this man walk around. Am I saying it should be open season on this guy? Absolutely not. Justice, even though I would like for it to be served, I highly doubt that it will. But this is just the state of this country. And again, as I said in one video, the justice system here in the United States is very fucked up. And it's something where it's not just happening to black people, because I know it happens to white people too. White people have gone to jail for something that they didn't commit, served a good portion of their life, and then get released with oh, we fucked up, we're sorry. But it's happening a lot. But the thing is, with police brutality, and the reason why there's a Black Lives Matter movement is because of shit like this. But all of a sudden, when black people stand up to raise their voice, white people say, well, what about black on black crime? As if white on white crime doesn't exist. Or white people will say, well, white people get killed by the cops more than black people. More white people are taking up arms against the cops, and they're meeting force with force. So yes, they deserve to die. But not a lot of white people are saying unarmed white people are getting killed by the cops, because you're not seeing that happening. And for all those that want to say all lives matter, those motherfuckers had nothing to say about Zachary Hammond. And I keep saying this. But some of the people that did speak up about Zachary Hammond, an unarmed white kid who got killed by the cops, the Black Lives Matter movement spoke up on his behalf, because it's just another civilian whose life was taken by law enforcement. And now you have an instance to where a cop kills someone and he's out on bond, free to walk the streets, free to look at the family for the person that he killed and say, ha ha, look at me now. Anyway, if you like this video, I hope that you like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook. Peace.